public nudity and what is or isn't considered decency. In one of my groups, a local group, someone posted an image of a man in a bus stop. She did it because she was passing and saw him smoking a cigarette with his penis hanging out of his pants. Apparently, this is something that's regular and normal he is known by several of the residents of the area because he's been hanging around like a street person with mental health issues, and this is one of the things he does. Like in the summer, he'll be in the bus shelter wearing 3 winter coats, 3 winter jackets in the hot sun. Now it's winter, it's -11, and he's in the bus shelter smoking a cigarette and his dick just hanging there. So the person who posted it was doing it as a warning or heads up to people who may be walking past, who are familiar with the area, who know the area and know where the bus stop is. So, and in her case, she said just in case they have children, if they're coming by with children, so that they are forewarned. So people are talking about it and laughing about it. Everybody goes and zooms in on the picture, and you can't see anything. You can't see the person's face. You can't see anything. Certainly can't see a penis. But she said perhaps he's noticed that she was going to take a picture and he kind of put it away or something, but it's not visible. And besides, you have to squint. There's nothing showing. There's nothing showing at all. Some guy who is from the area, because we are all from the area. I've moved from the area. I lived in the area for several years at different homes, and I chose to move out of the area because it's just a bit too colorful for me, meaning that, well, there are mental health patients roaming the streets. There are people with those mental health issues. There is a community center for them to hang out, to go and have some warm meal or coffee, have something to eat, lunch. There's a lunch program, and the neighborhood tries to take care of some of these people, especially those who are not violent. This guy is supposedly like one of those he's okay. He doesn't bother anyone, but he does have his dick sticking out of his pants sometimes. And people are saying, oh yeah, this is a regular occurrence in this neighborhood. It's no big deal. Some people are laughing. Some people are upset because, well, what if I'm trying to walk past with my kids? Like, I don't want to see that. So it's what is considered, I don't know, the inner city kind of thing, but it's mostly white people who live around there, and there are other people of color. The Tibetan community is actually growing in numbers. When I was leaving, that's when they were starting to arrive. So I've been out of there for, I don't know, about 10 years now. I haven't been. The neighborhood is called Parkdale. It's one of my actually best neighborhoods. Well, it used to be my favorite neighborhood. When I lived there, I loved it so much. But it's changed, and it's always changing, but it doesn't seem to be for the better, And so a guy who grew up there and has lived there for a long time, he's pissed off that, you're showing his neighborhood like that, and, he's upset that this is posted. And the person who shared the image, she said that was not the reason why she did it. She didn't do it for jokes. She didn't do it for laughs. She did it to alert possible parent coming past, because this is around the time of day when children are being picked up from daycare or school, or maybe they're going out for a bite to eat. It's close to supper time, and just a heads up, there is that guy that some of you know. You even know his name because they even have the police telling the residents, about the guy, that he's okay. Sometimes he is just having a bad day, but the penis is a problem for some people, only some people. So here's where I have to put in my 2 cents. When I was growing up on the island, I lived for some time in the city. And in the city, the hardcore middle of the city, they call it town. In town, I lived in town, and in town are all these like rich Syrians and people from the Lebanese and the white people, owners of commerce, business, land, and whatever. They are the big money people. So I lived there, and no, we were not big money people, but I lived there, and I was a child. And as a child, it's difficult. You don't really find other children around, especially black children. So I was pretty much alone in that area, and many of the people who lived there, they were older. They were older people who had lived there and even retired or retiring. And so for a little black girl, and most of the people, they're not black. I had to go down the road and through this kind of alley kind of road to the next street. That's where those were the only children that lived around, and they were not that close, but close enough. I could walk over in like 3 minutes. But their mother had been the mayor, and she was black, and the children were black children. But that was it. It was just us. So walking about, when the stores close at 4 o'clock, and they break at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. At noon, actually, is lunchtime. So from 12 to 1, it's lunchtime. All the stores close. And then they open again, and then they close at 4. And after 4, it's pretty much dead. It's dead in the area, and you don't see many people walking around. So I want to go to my friends, just the next street over. But I gotta go through this pedophile, or that pervert, and the other pervert, or the other pedophile. There was different guys doing stuff. They would call, psst, psst, call me a child, and pull down the pants and start stroking it. That really traumatized me. I felt terrorized. And also I didn't feel safe. I felt fear and anger. I was angry. I wasn't happy. I wasn't amused. There were no other adults. It's just me, this little girl. And there's another black man, and another black man, and another black man. They were men. No, they were not men. I say men because they were guys in their 30s. They were old men, like in their late 60s. They were different old guys. Because in cities, there are these kinds of transient people who are, sitting on these stairs with all their worldly possessions and bags, and transient people. They could have, and do often have, mental health issues. So what seemed to happen in that, I was learning about society. There in these neighborhoods, there are those, they would be open to anything. They're open to queer people. They're open to, transsexuals. They're open to mental health patients exposing themselves in public, and because they want to find out why are you doing that, and they find out. And they say, oh, he's okay guy. So they will bring him maybe something to eat, maybe a pair of socks, and so try to help him out. But the fact remains, he's still exposing himself. And though you as an adult may not have a problem with that, I remember being a child and having a problem with that. It scared the hell out of me. And people will say, how do people turn gay? Are you gay because, I don't know, for all kinds of reasons they say why, right? I went through a phase where I was queer. I never was gay. I called myself queer, and I called myself a dyke because I had been so traumatized by male presence in my life that I flipped to women. I realized fluidity in my sexuality. I'm neither nor. I could be either or. And then I chose to just back away from it all, and I'm not feeling attracted to anything at this time, because the world has become a place where it's a selfish world, and few people care about children, and even fewer care about the safety of the children. So safety of children is pushed to the back. While we are caring about that guy with mental health issues, somebody thinks, call the police. And the person who said call the police, they are angry. The other people who live there are angry because they're like, why would you call the police? He's a harmless guy. Well, I'm a little girl and I don't know he's a harmless guy. Because why should he show me his dick? What am I supposed to do? There is his dick. At least he's not stroking it. He's smoking. This guy is smoking a cigarette and his dick is hanging out. It's like an ex of mine. I had a guy, ex-boyfriend living in my home. He was a young guy and he was fighting with me. He was always fighting with me. I don't know, because he stuck to me like glue, and I was just asking for some space. I said, listen, I even gave you your own bedroom. I love to have my space. You can be in my home. We can be very affectionate, and you, at some point, you have to go to your own space. I just need space. And he wouldn't give me space, and I was begging him, and I had to kick him out of my room. And his room was just down the hall. There's a bathroom separating my bedroom from his, and he was so furious with me. He started calling me names, and he'd been yelling at me all day. And I'm like, I just want some peace. Just go take a walk, ride a bike, give me a break. I've been out. You go out now. It's my home. I want to enjoy my space. He didn't want to give me my space. So he was fighting with me, and since he wouldn't stop, I decided, okay, this is my home, and you need to stop now, because I'd had it. I was like pushed to my limit. So I marched over from my room to his room, because after, please shut the fuck up, he keeps going, and he wouldn't shut up. So I walked to the door, and he's still screaming at me, and I pushed the door open, and I'm in shock. He's sitting on the bed, he's stroking his penis, and he's yelling his head off at me, calling me all kinds of names and saying all kinds of shit to me in my home, my space, where I provided for him. A place that was supposed to be peaceful, clean, safe, secure. Because that's what it was when I was there alone. I had peace. And this male presence came because I felt sorry for him. I felt bad for him. Just like these women now on social media feeling bad for that guy who is smoking a cigarette in a bus shelter. Well, they're on drugs. Here's drugs again. Y'all don't like, for those of you who have been addicts, you have a real problem with me. You used to be all chummy with me till I started to talk about drugs in the manner that I do. Listen, if you're no longer, you're always an addict, but if you're not doing it, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're staying away from it, I commend you. But I'm not going to give props to people who are doing drugs and on drugs, or maybe they need drugs for their treatment, is what they're told. You don't know necessarily. Yeah, some people, they need their drugs. They are a lot better when they're on it, right? But how do we handle, the question is, how do we handle this issue of men, and in this case he's white men, okay, men who are in public and exposing their genitals, their genitalia out there like that? And why don't people care enough about the children, so that at least, like, maybe tell that crazy guy, dude, like, maybe you're feeling hot and you want to cool it down, that's okay, but here's a long jacket. No, he has the jacket open because he wants to expose himself. Y'all want me to believe that, we just gotta like roll over, and these homeless people with mental health issues and other psychological and personality disorders, we're just supposed to let them do whatever the hell they want? And again, don't give a shit about the kids? Is that why, I just read a 15-year-old, a teacher, she's married. She had sex with a 15-year-old boy in a field. I mean, where do we draw the line with adults? And why are all these grown people doing all these messed up things? Because they're never, again, when they were children, nobody cared, right? Possibility. And then there's drugs again. Like, it's all, I make the links. It's all tied. But all you're caring about is the maintaining, I don't know what reputation of your neighborhood, that it's not sullied. Many white people are like that with their neighborhoods, because they like to point at certain neighborhoods like Jane and Finch. That's where the black people are committing crime and shooting, and they will name all the areas where the black people are doing their criminal behavior. But where white people are doing it, they don't criminalize it. No, I'm just observing, right? That's all I do. I see and I speak. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Please, please, please. I'm becoming one of those YouTube people. I am not accustomed to asking people for things. I'm the sort of person I give to people when I see, hey, you're in need or you would like to have that. I give it to you so that you don't have to beg me. And I'm not accustomed to begging, but I will say, because I see so many people, because I check out my other YouTube community. I'm on YouTube a lot. I don't watch TV. I hate TV. I love YouTube because I love to see and hear people speak freely. And there's much of that as opposed to like the other social media, like there are places where you can't speak freely, right? So I'm thankful that YouTube has allowed me to speak and use my voice. And so I just was here questioning public displays of genitals, and people, men especially, but women too, can do that. And why is it okay, and how do we handle it? Apparently the police are familiar with him and know about him, and he's harmless. So maybe what could happen, it could become a learning thing for children, so that if you're walking past and a child sees that, you can explain to them. See, I had no adult with me. I was not walking with any person. I was by myself around the age of like 12, 13 is when I witnessed this sort of thing. And it scared the hell out of me, because I was in a place where it was desolate. It was like it's like ghost town. It was literally like a ghost town when it was closed down. And that place I'm talking about, Parkdale, it's very lively. It's one of the main roads, main streets in the city of Toronto, and it's a really cool neighborhood, or it used to be. But crime is on the increase, and mental health patients wandering about, shouting and doing crazy things, attacking people sometimes. Yes, there are people being attacked. It's when I lived there on King Street, I know there were young girls being trafficked. They were taken from where they came from and brought to that corner just up the street from my house. And I tried to save some girls. I would stop and talk to them, and they would say to me, and the girl was like 14, 15-year-old girl. Not even, I don't even think the girl was 16. They were different ones. And I would try to are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need help? Would you like to, do you want to come and use the washroom? Do you have to go to the bathroom? Because you've been standing there for so long. And she'd say, no, I'm okay. I'm being watched. They would say that. So it's like these guys may not even be around. These guys may just park these girls there to sell their bodies, because men repeatedly driving by, circling around and looking, and then the girl in the car drive off, and she goes and sucks a dick somewhere and sit on a lap and bob, and she gets paid. And I don't think the guys were necessarily watching, because those guys, oh please, but they psychologically mess with these young girls. And once again, the male in society wins, right? At the risk of breaking and just messing up the lives, ruining lives of young girls. Thank you. I'm Domina Della Pie, Mistress Sasha Storm. Good day.